Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to take a really amazing sensory walking tour through the fascinating city of Tianjin. We'll be exploring how this incredible place serves as a living, breathing museum of East meets West culture. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Because Tianjin isn't just a city, it is this magnificent collision of history, architecture, and everyday daily life. To kick things off, let's ask ourselves a fun question. What kind of city can seamlessly blend European architectural grandeur with an absolutely relentless world-class passion for street food? I mean, Tianjin is the kind of place where you can stroll past a classic Italian villa in the morning and then literally just grab ancient recipes of carbohydrate-loaded breakfasts right on the street corner. And speaking of that breakfast, you're going to learn very quickly that the locals here take authenticity extremely seriously. In fact, if you dare try to put lettuce or, a hot dog in their traditional breakfast pancake, the jianbing guozi, the locals will playfully refer to it as a cult pancake. They take their food very, very seriously, and they absolutely do not mess with tradition. Section 1. Fueling up. Tianjin food. Okay, before we explore all those grand buildings, we really need to explore the city at a micro level by starting our morning with its legendary, carbohydrate-rich street food. This is basically the fuel that powers the whole city. Making an authentic jianbing guozi requires this meticulous, step-by-step construction. According to our sources, you always start with a pure, freshly ground mung bean batter, never ever white flour. Then you clack a fresh egg, add a layer of this ultra-crispy fried dough called guabi, and you finish the whole thing off with a rich, sweet bean sauce and a sprinkle of scallions. It's just a masterpiece of texture for sure. And this bustling food scene features a deeply relatable, really frugal human tradition. Picture this. It's entirely common to see customers waiting in long lines at these food carts holding their own raw eggs that they brought straight from their home kitchens. It's this charming generational habit designed to save just a few cents on breakfast, and it's completely accepted and embraced by the street vendors. Moving on from pancakes, another famous local dish requires sheer precision and strict mathematical rules, the goobly baozi. The dough is semi-fermented, so it holds the broth without getting soggy. The pork filling is precisely 30% fat to 70% lean meat. They use this special water filling technique with bone broth, and visually, get this. Every single bun has to have exactly 18 to 22 folds. It's culinary engineering at its finest. Section 2, a World Architecture Museum. All right, with our stomachs full, let's zoom out a bit and stroll through the city's macro-level marvels, specifically focusing on the historical European concessions that earned Tianjin this architectural title. Western culture firmly took root here in the 19th and early 20th centuries, resulting in a staggering volume of global styles. It's like a giant puzzle. You've got Romanesque designs, elegant Italian squares, and this wild, eclectic mix of Gothic, Baroque, and Byzantine structures all just sitting right side by side. 2,185. That staggering number represents the total variety of buildings packed into just 1.28 square kilometers known as the Five Avenues, or Wudado. Spanning historic districts built by the British and others, it truly acts as a massive open-air museum. You can literally walk down one street and see English garden houses, turn the corner, and boom, you're looking at French castle villas. Let's zero in on some specific neighborhoods, like the totally immersive, exotic atmosphere of the Italian-style area. As Asia's best-preserved Italian architectural complex, it boasts 137 buildings entirely designed by Italian architects. With its beautiful Goddess of Peace statue and historic barracks, walking through here literally makes you feel as though you've teleported straight to ancient Italy. Section 3, Wonders of Cultural Fusion. Now, Tianjin isn't just about preserving Western or Eastern buildings in their own little bubbles. In this next section, we'll see how this historical foundation builds into some of the most bizarre, beautiful architectural fusions on the planet. Okay, prepare to have your mind blown for a second, because that jaw-dropping statistic isolates the exact number of ancient porcelain shards covering the facade of our next stop. 700 million pieces. No way, right? Welcome to the Porcelain House. This represents the ultimate East meets West fusion. It actually started as a classic French-style building, but was later completely transformed into a shrine to Chinese history. Covered in those 700 million shards plus 13,000 ancient vases, it's currently valued at an astounding 9.8 billion RMB. It even features a 768-meter porcelain dragon winding right across its roof. Then we see this fantastic cinematic juxtaposition that you can experience just by standing on the street. On one side, you have the ancient Eastern philosophy represented by the massive century clock featuring Tai Chi and yin yang symbolism. And then, standing right beside it, is the heavy Western industrial engineering of the Jiefeng Bridge, a 1927 all-steel bascular bridge that can physically open up for ships. It's just an incredible visual contrast. Adding to all this eclectic charm is the majestic Zikai Church. It's actually the largest Romanesque building in the city, built back in 1916 by the French missionary Du Paul, featuring 3 towering 45-meter domes covered in green copper. But it also carries a pretty quirky history. See, early bishops refused to install a lightning rod, and, well, sure enough, the main cross was famously struck by lightning in the 1950s, which finally forced them to install one. Section 4. The soul of the city. Let's tie these physical spaces back to what we should take away from all this. How does a city balance all these wild contradictions? When you trace this timeline, it becomes super clear that these aren't just old buildings standing randomly next to each other. They're a 3D blueprint of modern Chinese history. From its traditional maritime roots, through the foreign concessions of the 1920s, all the way up to the modern restorations, Tianjin has preserved this legacy of harmonious contradiction. It absorbs outside influences without ever losing its distinct local flavor. And modern marvels like the Tianjin Eye perfectly capture this ongoing evolution. Get this, it's the only Ferris wheel in the entire world built directly on a bridge. Soaring nearly 120 meters over the Haihe River, it offers this amazing 360-degree view of a city that is constantly reinventing itself. It's stacking the future quite literally on top of its infrastructure, all while honoring its past. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder long after this explainer ends. We've seen how meticulously Tianjin curates its food, its architecture, and its history to build something entirely unique. It really invites you to wonder, as this living museum continues to grow, what beautiful, bizarre cultural fusions is Tianjin going to construct next? Thanks so much for joining me on this visual journey, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring.